just like that, we're back. Views from Section 400. Matt, Jack, and Brian. Another action-packed episode on the cards here. Michael of the week in this one. Obviously, we've been doing that for a while, so stay tuned to see what the guys have for crazy reaction to the sports world. PGA Championship just wrapped up at Valhalla down in Kentucky. Obviously, Scotty Scheffler arrested on Friday. Pretty nuts there. We'll get into who won the tournament. Freakness, I gave out the winner. We'll get into that. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, and a whole lot more in this one. But as we always like to do, winners and losers, Michael of the week. That's how we start the show. This one is the Michael of the week. Kick it over to Brian in the Blue Claws hat. Who's the Michael of the week, man?
Blue Crabs. Put some respect on the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs name there.
What did I say, Blue Claws?
Yeah. I think that's
By that far off, though?
I think that's Wilmington. You're spending too much time in Delaware.
I guess so.
Yeah, so my Michael of the week, we're going to stay on the baseball route here. There's a Division III school called Birmingham Southern, and they just advanced to the D3 Super Regionals, so a round away from the D3 World Series. If they make it to the Division III College Baseball World Series, they will be representing a Birmingham Southern University college that will not exist. On May 31st, the college is shutting down its doors. It's closing. So if they manage to make it one more round, their name on their jersey, who they're representing, it will not exist.
Are they still going to wear it?
Yeah, they're still going to play. I guess it would count in the school's history, but it technically would not.
You know what that reminds me? That reminds me of the wrestler, I think from Stanford, who won like the national championship, but wore like a black singlet because Stanford shut down the wrestling program or something like that. So he went out there, not repping Stanford, but still ended up going out and winning the championship. That's kind of what that reminds me of. I wonder if they get like custom jerseys. I mean, it's not like they have to represent their school anymore, do they?
That's a good point. Maybe they make their own jerseys, go down to custom ink or
That'd be pretty cool.
Like, that's actually kind of wild.
Make it like the MLB All-Star game. They just all wear their favorite team's hat.
Yeah, they're probably all auditioning for, transfer portal schools. You know what I mean? They're probably going balls to the wall.
Yeah, that's a good point because they're probably going to be trying a little extra harder, especially if there's younger or underclassmen who are playing that now are going to have to find somewhere else to play. So if anything, they have a better shot at winning.
Yeah, I don't know how the D3 transfer portal landscape works, but something tells me they'll just go down to club next year. But then again, like, yeah,
there's no club team either.
Yeah, they'll have to build their own and play against.
It's not like you just jump. Like, it's not like the program's disappearing. The entire school's disappearing.
Yeah, that's nuts.
I don't even know how to react to that. I haven't heard that, I don't think, ever.
Yeah.
And to continue the sport as well is wild.
Yeah, well, what are they going to do? They can't make them stop playing.
Oh, yeah, dude, no, those kids deserve it. They're not going to stop playing.
I agree. Let the kids play.
Let the kids play.
Jack, that's a tough follow-up, man. Who's your fucking Michael?
Yeah, for real. That was a damn good one, Brian. I've got two Michaels of the week. They both hail from the Arizona Cardinals, just a phenomenal football organization. One's nice and quick. David Johnson, old running back, officially retired today. I don't understand why that made headlines. I don't think it needed to. Thought that news probably came out 4 or 5 years ago when we all just missed it, but I guess today he officially retired. So shout out David Johnson for that one good fantasy season. Yeah, congrats.
He had like two good fantasy seasons, but I like how you said officially retired because he's been unofficially retired for about 4 years now, I think.
Yeah, I don't know why it always has to be this like weird official statement. It's
right.
It hasn't played for like a while. I don't know the years, but it's been a while.
They got to file like the actual paperwork with the NFL and the NFLPA, and that's what it is. But it's a bunch of nonsense.
I guess Jarvis Landry isn't ready to have that conversation yet. He's still trying to make it on the Jags roster.
He's on the Jags now?
Yeah, is he on the team?
Jarvis Landry, well, he was a free agent, but he's trying to make a one of those veteran comebacks with the Jags and make the Jags roster.
I mean, we just went over the schedules in the last episode. I think they have the Dolphins game 1. So maybe a little revenge factor there for Jarvis.
Definitely.
Perfect comeback game right there.
And all the veterans, Adam Thielen, perfect example. These guys are exceptional for the first 6-8 weeks of the season until their legs just give out on them and they're no good no more. But yeah, that could be good. We got them week 1. That'd be electric. The other, I did say I have 2 Michaels of the week. The other one does also hail from the Arizona Cardinals. A little bit more relevant now. Their number 1 overall pick, Marvin Harrison, is getting sued. Marvin Harrison Jr. is getting sued by Fanatics. His dad, Marvin Harrison Sr., the all-pro wide receiver for the Colts back in the day, is his agent. I don't know if you guys are aware of that, but that's his agent. Apparently he messed up something, didn't come through on a couple of signings or something like that, and now he's getting sued before he even takes a snap in the NFL, before he even signs his NFL player agreement. I don't know if, it's still being discussed right now, so I don't know if this is really on Marvin Harrison Sr., on Marvin Harrison Jr., on Fanatics for being greedy, but this is just such a stupid and messed up situation. Kind of crazy for this to happen, and dude hasn't even taken a snap yet. We're still in May. I mean, come on.
The fact his dad's his agent is a Michael of the week in itself.
Yeah.
That's insane. What, they just didn't, was it jerseys that he was supposed to sign and then give to him?
He was supposed to be at autograph signings and have signed memorabilia as well, I think, available for Fanatics, and just didn't do that.
Huh.
I was gonna say, how is that something to get sued over? Did he sign hey, I'll have this available for you guys, and just didn't have any of the memorabilia?
Yeah, it was a breach of contract is what they ended up, is what they're suing him for.
Well, this is the same guy that had the thing with Madden, right? Where he didn't give Madden his naming rights?
Well, that's because he hasn't signed his NFL player agreement. And apparently he hasn't signed his NFL player agreement because of this lawsuit with Fanatics. So again, this is why it's a Michael of the week. It's what the fuck is going on here, man? What the hell is going on here? You're not in Madden because you haven't signed your player agreement. You haven't signed your player agreement because you're getting sued by somebody you're trying to make an endorsement deal with. I mean, what the hell, man? Just go play some football.
Sounds like he just needs an actual agent. I think that's the root of the problem here.
Well, honestly. Yeah, I don't know why he has his father. I mean, you can take advice, take tips, try and learn how to play the game at the pro level from your dad who played. But, I mean, how much experience does his dad have at being an agent? I'm not sure that it's much.
Apparently not much, because they're getting sued.
Fucking lawsuit. He hasn't even signed a contract yet.
First day out the draft, we're already getting sued.
Yeah, not a hot start for Marvin Harrison's sports agent career, right?
Shout out the Arizona Cardinals organization. They're in the headlines for all the wrong reasons.
Always. And I'm sure we'll get more as soon as the season starts and Kyler Murray has some stuff going on.
They were the only organization to cash the anti-Eagles parlay last season, though. So that might be all they're good for nowadays.
That was a wild game, but we're not going to get into that. I'll get into my Michael. We'll leave last year to last year. My Michael of the week is just the entire weekend that the PGA Championship was, right? I mean, it started out, everybody hammered Scotty Scheffler. He looked to be the guy to win the major for the right reasons, right? I mean, he's the best. He's the number 1 guy in the world right now. Gets arrested on Friday, to say the least. Obviously, there's a whole lot in that. Skip traffic, try to jump through traffic, try to get through the police officer, felony assault charges on a cop. That is wild coming from Scotty Scheffler. Out of all people, right? You think that's something like Antonio Brown would be doing right now. And Scotty Scheffler's got felony assault charges against police officer. Wild. Either way, gets released, goes out and plays, changes his caddy. There's a whole lot going on there. And then obviously he didn't win the tournament because that's this next part of this PGA Championship weekend. Xander Schauffele finally got his first major. I mean, this guy's I think he had 28 starts as a major. I could be off on that by a little bit, but he played in a lot of majors. He finally got it done by winning the PGA Championship down there in Louisville, Kentucky at Valhalla. But yeah, congrats to Xander. And honestly, like if they put odds out there for Scotty Scheffler to get arrested before his tee time, I mean, that would be like 10 to win $1 million, right? I mean, what would the odds be?
Probably more.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
If you do a get arrested and then make his tee time. All-time graphic of all-time graphics is him sitting at his press conference. And that must have been ESPN because they had the first couple days of coverage. But Scotty Scheffler arrested at 6:01 a.m. and he's just doing his press conference after he finishes his round. Oh, insane.
Get arrested and then still go out there and play in a major championship is got to be the most. Like, I feel like it's like people have been talking about it. I feel like it's still not processed in their head. It's still not processed in my head because everything happened so fast. You know, there's only 4 days of a tournament. Like, you got arrested and booked, and he's now facing criminal charges. Obviously played the rest of the weekend, but I don't know, man. I can't fathom it. It's wild.
It's nuts. I mean, the thing is one of the reasons why I think it's just still just so shocking to people is that happened Friday morning. He went out there and shot great on Friday. He had a great round. It wasn't until the next day when all that adrenaline comes to an absolute halt. He said that in the post round interview after Saturday's round, day 3, he was talking about his adrenaline, how it all came crashing down. Didn't have his normal routine before his round 3. Feel bad for him, man. I mean, you're on top of the world. You just won the last major. You're coming in here. You're top 5, and then this BS has to happen.
Just had a kid.
Yeah,
you just had a kid too. Just had a kid too. All this BS is happening. You're just trying to go play golf and do what you do best. But a lot of distractions, tough for him. Shout out to Xander though. You finished 21 under. You deserve a damn title.
Well, that's what I wanted to jump into next, right? Our bets that we kind of talked about. Before the tournament started, I liked Ludwig Aberg. I liked the other guy, Joakim Niemann, which I didn't even see any coverage on him. Like, did he even play this weekend? Like, I honestly didn't even see the guy at all.
I didn't see him.
I don't think I saw him once.
I didn't see that guy at all.
Are we sure he didn't skip the barricade of cops and get arrested too? And not make his tee time?
I don't even think he showed up. He might have
He
showed
just
up.
didn't get bailed out.
I really don't know what happened to that guy because I didn't see him once all weekend. Ludwig obviously didn't do well either. That would have been better for Brian to say a guy to miss the cut, but Brian had Colin Morikawa to miss the cut, who was damn close to winning the championship.
Yeah, he was in the final pairing. He had the second to last putt of the tournament.
Yeah, he played pretty dang well. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I watch golf all the time, but he just plays so consistent, nothing too special, which is why I don't think he ended up winning it at all, Morikawa, but just so consistent with his approach. I do have to talk about my bet, my Rory bet. I mean, you guys just know what you're talking about, right? You do. Matt, Brian, congrats to you guys. Rory, absolute banger for the first 2 days. Day 3, day 4, just gone. I was watching. Well, actually, let me. I mean, he didn't have a shot to win it after day 3, but I was watching him today, day 4. He hit this. He hit the ball in the water. I think it was maybe hole like 11 or 12. He hits one in the water, and you just see it on his face, like, dude, like that was the nail in the coffin. It looked like that was the end of his career, that shot. I'm not going to lie. That's how devastated he looked. So I will never be betting on him again. I don't think he has the confidence to win himself. So I think he gave it everything he had last weekend in a non-major tournament. And thanks for the memories, Rory. Peace.
I think it's been a decade since he's won a major now. Something crazy like that.
Well, I was just going to say that's a good point, Jack, because I personally don't think Rory will ever win a major again. Has he even won one? He's won before, right? I think
I
he's won
think
a
his
couple.
last one was 2014. This
Yeah.
I
tournament.
think
When he
I
was
remember him
young.
winning some. I thought he won multiple big ones back in the day.
Yeah, he had a
Yeah.
few, but it's just been
But
forever.
I don't know that he's going to get there again.
Especially with all the talent now. Like it's gonna be really tough. And yeah, before we move on, Jack, you kind of mentioned Murray had a bad weekend. He still shot like 9, 8 under. And I know I said on Thursday's show the course was gonna have a big weekend. The course did not show up at all this weekend. These like you should not be shooting 21 under in a major to win. It should be like around the 10, 11 mark. 21's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
The greens were very, very even. There was not a lot of left to right, right to left, downhill, uphill. It was, for these guys who need to be challenged to, play golf essentially I think it was just a very regular course. And we saw it on the scoreboard or whatever you want to call it, leaderboard, because these guys were 20 under. And I mean, we went into the final day with probably like 6 or 7 guys to have a shot to win it. Obviously, it played out in the final round that it wasn't the case that all those guys had a shot. But I mean, everybody was pretty much within two strokes of each other in the final round, which is not something you see all the time.
I was really hoping we would have a playoff at the end there.
I was hoping for it too, because to end that whole thing, I did hammer Bryson DeChambeau plus, I think he was like plus 370 when I got him. Got to 20 under. Xander just needed to par that hole to get to the playoff, and he hit the birdie putt to win the championship. Almost lipped out. Maybe I thought it almost lipped out a little more than everybody else might have saw it, because I wanted it to lip out, but nonetheless, he hit the putt, won the championship, and the rest is history. So that's the PGA Championship. Wild weekend. Probably one of the more wild ones we'll get for the foreseeable future. But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable that everything that unfolded, and then we get that ending today. It was a good weekend, other than, the person getting struck by a bus and dying, and Scotty getting a felony assault charges. Definitely the condolences out to that family in that situation. But other than that, I mean, PGA moves on to next weekend. We see all the LIV guys go back to their respective league, and the PGA guys will keep moving on until we get, I guess, the U.S. Open's the next major.
It's time to just figure out the merger, people. I'm sick of 2 different golf leagues, and one's on the CW and the other one's on CBS. It's just
What a horrible broadcast that is.
it's the definition of a Mickey Mouse.
Ain't no love for the CW.
It's so bad. But that's a different conversation for a different day. Let's jump into the NBA playoffs, because we had a wild day today. And you'll get a reaction after the Game 7 Timberwolves and Nuggets that is essentially tipping off, I guess, in a half hour, or whenever ESPN wants that to tip off, considering they don't know how to start on time. So whenever that tips off, we'll give a quick reaction after that. So we might as well talk about what just happened, what unfolded. And the Minnesota Timberwolves are moving on to the Western Conference Finals to face Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. I'm pretty stunned, man. I didn't think the Nuggets were going to lose a Game 7 at home. Defending champs, too.
Yeah, if you would have told me in Game 7, Jokic and Jamal Murray would combine for 70 points and their team would be up by 20 at one point, I would have said, okay, yeah, easy win. Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels had other plans.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. You would think the Nuggets at home, the role players would step up. We always talk about how the role players play well at home. Outside of Jokic and Murray, not a single other player had double-digit scoring. Not a single other player. I mean, they combined for 69 points, and that ended up being 75% of their team's entire scoring total. I mean, barely over 35 points in the second half. Give credit to the Timberwolves, man. They played some lockdown defense on the road.
That defense, it's been the story all year, but you thought in a game 7 on the road. It would be the Nuggets with just their experience be able to do it. But Jokic had a lot of turnovers, was rattled. A lot of bad shots by Michael Porter, and Aaron Gordon couldn't really shoot at all. It's just, besides, obviously Nuggets got out to the big lead, but after that it was pure domination.
Well, I think I addressed that on the last show with Michael Porter Jr. taking bad shots and a lot of them. But I think the Minnesota Timberwolves are what the Utah Jazz couldn't be, and they're trying to finish what they were, right? We had Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, tried to get it done in Utah, and Anthony Edwards is a better Donovan Mitchell, at least right now, proving to be so. And, Karl Anthony Towns is he just has to be a guy who obviously very good player, but he just has to be a guy. I mean, it's Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, and give me Anthony Edwards as the better Donovan Mitchell. And they're trying to provide the solution to the answer that wasn't out in Utah.
Yeah, that backcourt of Conley and Edwards, 11 assists, 1 turnover today. And I know Edwards didn't have a great scoring night, but when you can do that, you're going to win basketball games.
Yeah, Brian, you were saying you expected Anthony Edwards to go for 55 in a win. He did not have 30 points, but somehow, some way, his team strapped together, picked him back up when he was just missing shot after shot. There was one stretch where he had 2 of the worst misses I've ever seen from him. One, I think, was just a complete brick, and then the next one was an air ball. And I was just like, oh, gosh. And this was when Denver had that huge lead. I was like, if Anthony Edwards isn't going to will them back in this, they have no shot. But what a collapse job by the Nuggets, dude. They just didn't want it enough. Jokic is going home to his horses.
Yeah, Edwards, he had the big 3 at the end of the 3rd quarter, big dagger 3 at the end of the 4th, and then a layup in transition and dunk in transition. I think he shot, 2 for 20 on other shots besides those. But he got the big ones. And like you said, Jokic can enjoy his horses now, and maybe he gets one in the Belmont coming up kind of soon.
Well, yes or no, Anthony Edwards theatrics at the end of the game, disrespectful or warranted as a young rising superstar? Wave to the crowd. I guess Jaden McDaniels played a part too, trying to do a fucking all-star slam dunk contest move right at the end of the game in a game 7. Pretty wild, to be honest. Jokic wasn't happy about any of those moves by McDaniels or Edwards right at the end there.
As long as no one's getting Marquise or Markieff Morris in the back by Jokic, it is what it is. That's a good question, Matt. I don't know, honestly. I'm thinking about that a little bit more. My initial reaction was, in the moment, big series win, just took down the defending champs in a game 7 in their place. Give it to them. Let the kid go crazy. But you might be onto something. I'm just glad Jokic didn't bulldoze him like he did the Morris brother.
Yeah, thought there would have been a little reaction there from the Nuggets. We saw it from Jokic, but nothing physical. Yeah, maybe next year.
Edward was talking all series. He was holding up 7 in game 6, and he's backing it up though.
That's who he is, right? That's his personality. It's the way he plays. I think for the NBA, it's a good thing. In that moment, in that time, people are going to say it was a disrespectful move, but that's the way the guy is, the way his personality is, and well. Whether it's game 7 or game 1 of the regular season, that's just the way Anthony Edwards plays a game of basketball.
If you don't want him to do it, win the game.
And that's the bottom line you can always come to, right? Is you don't like it, don't give him that platform, that position to do it.
Yeah. I always hear that argument, and I understand it, but win with some grace, because you're right. The only way to rebuke what he's saying, to go against what he's saying, is to beat him on the court. And now that they just won game 7, you don't get to do that until next season. So kind of tough for them. They just have to sit with that salty mouth for the next, 9 months or whatever it is. But they'll be back next year. Believe that.
But the other side of it is, right, like, have some integrity, have some respect. Respect the game.
Yeah.
Respect. They just, don't do that to the defending champs. Like you said, have some grace, have some respect. And Edwards doesn't give a fuck.
Send the video.
Yeah, he says F all that.
Listen, I hope he does the same shit in the Olympics this summer when we beat Australia by 65 and he's doing windmill dunks.
Yeah, that would be better, I think. Do it against other countries. I guess he technically did.
Yeah. All right, well, we have Timberwolves and then we have the Mavericks now. I guess we'll talk more about it on the next show, but quick, who's winning the series around the horn?
I think I need to ponder on this one because I'm already back and forth.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Minnesota, but I'm also back and forth. It's a little too quick, Brian. You want to give me like a night's sleep on it, maybe?
Well, it's the instant reaction here. I need your just
I mean,
pure thoughts.
first response goes back to what I brought up about, these are the guys carrying out the Utah plan from a couple of years ago. Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, and now they have a better Donovan Mitchell and Edwards. They're going to go out and finish the job.
And honestly, we're not. I feel like you might be discrediting Cat's ability here. I mean, he's an MVP type player. Not that he's gonna ever win an MVP, but
I don't know about MVP, but I said he just has to be
all-star.
He just has to be a guy.
Let me correct myself. He's an all-star player.
Sure, I think that's more on par of what he is, but
he could win an MVP.
I don't think so. That
It'd
might be
tough,
in the.
but he could.
That might be another. That might be another Matt 0%er right there.
I mean, not on a team with Edwards and Rudy Gobert and Naz Reid and the whole cast that they have. You usually get watered down when your cast is really good, but he would have to average. No, I don't think he can.
Either way, all-star caliber player, and I'm not discrediting what he is. I'm just saying he just has to be. The Jazz didn't have that Cat type guy, which is why I'm saying this is what Utah tried to be, and now they have Cat. Like their next guy was Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah.
Timberwolves' next guy is Cat. So for that reason that I could draw up in my head for an instant reaction is why I think the Timberwolves take this series.
Yeah, I think their size inside is going to be too much for Dallas as well. I mean, who do they have after Lively? What's his name? Lively, right?
Yeah, it's Lively, Gafford, and
they got Kleba.
PJ Washington.
You can't put PJ Washington on either Cat or Rudy, can you?
He's the next biggest guy.
Don't disrespect Kleba. He's a good.
Don't disrespect who?
Maxi Kleba.
Maxi Kleba, that's right.
I haven't seen that guy play any minutes.
He's out there bricking threes.
Does he play? I was going to say he doesn't get a lot of minutes. So
yeah, he's a shooter.
I think the White Pal's injured.
The three main guys, or the biggest guys, it's Washington, Gafford, and Lively.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough
matchup right there. It's an extreme mismatch, is what it is.
But at the same time, man, I don't think anybody's going to be able to stop Kyrie. So let's see how that works for them.
And Kyrie hasn't even really been going off at all.
I got the Wolves in 7, I think. In 7 games.
The Wolves in 7?
Yeah.
You think another 7-game series?
Yeah, another one where the home team wins. It'll be a lot like the Pacers and Knicks.
Yeah.
I guess speaking of the Pacers and Knicks.
But I mean, we should probably jump into the Pacers and the Knicks, which I thought the Knicks had Game 7 at home on lock. And the Pacers not only came to play, but they dominated that entire game.
Yeah, they did. They came out with a punch. I mean, it was almost a 30-point game at one point, and early on too. But the Knicks clawed their way back. Pretty sure they brought it within 2 or 3. They may have even taken a lead at one point. I'm not too sure about that, but yeah, no, it got close, and then bam, right then and there again, Miles Turner, Tyrese Halliburton just expanded that lead. The Knicks, dude, I mean, it's a war of attrition, right, for these guys. They just ran out of gas. Jalen Brunson fractured his left hand. OG Anunoby actually came to play in this game for 4 minutes. So he tried to get out there after being hurt all series, tried to get out there, gave us 3-4 minutes, clearly wasn't going to be able to do it. You already know, no Randall. I mean, dude, just tough. The Knicks, they just absolutely ran out of steam. I will say, though, shout out Dante DiVincenzo and Alec Burks. Those two guys actually had really great game sevens, but the Pacers were just too deep for the Knicks. When down the stretch, they just had too much time, too many guys. I mean, simply came down to that. They looked well rested, were able to pop out for shots. Halliburton, Miles Turner got to take some minutes off in the fourth quarter. You think Jalen Brunson or Dante DiVincenzo gets a single minute off? Like, no. So, yeah, it was tough to see that awesome run come to an end.
And Brunson got some minutes off because he broke his hand. But Anunoby also had a cool looking shot for the first couple of minutes before he went out.
Not cool, Brian. Not cool. Not cool. Way too soon.
It's
Way
a broken
too.
hand. He's fine. He'll recover.
That's our hero. That's our Spider-Man. That is our Spider-Man. Knicks fans are holding up Jalen Brunson, like passing him along the train as they would Spider-Man. Man, I mean, don't do that to me. Don't do that
I'm
to me.
surprised I don't have a Jalen Brunson statue outside of MSG yet.
I'll probably be one. Just give it time.
New York's got the unions. It's going to take a couple years.
Probably will. You're right about that. But
this,
I mean, is Pascal Siakam trade of the year? Pacers are in an Eastern Conference final.
Well, no, and we'll get to this series in a little bit, but the team that took out our Thunder, I think, made a slightly better trade.
Yeah.
Washington.
Yeah. It's the same kind of thing, though. Like you're kind of third score option for both teams now.
I guess we'll see. I mean, maybe I asked that question too prematurely because we still don't know how the rest of the playoffs are going to pan out. But, I mean, the Pacers, nobody expected them to be here.
They did make it to the in-season tournament final before they had Siakam. So they've had a good season. However Mickey Mouse you want to call that in-season tournament, they still got there and proved they could win. But my big takeaway from this Game 7 is these NBA playoffs fucking suck. This is terrible. I'm sick of it. Like, every other game, I know we've had great series in terms of, like, the win-losses and deep series, but every other game's a blowout. Like, in this series alone, we had one good game, the Game 4, where Nembhard hit the 3. But everything else, it would just blow up, blow up, blow up, blow up. Oh, we're in Game 7. Hopefully now it's fun. Nope, 30-point game. Even in the Nuggets series tonight, it's been blowouts on each side. It's basically 2 series. We've had it 2-0 where Timberwolves look like crazy and then almost a sweep.
Well, maybe we get a better Game 7 tonight.
I hope so.
Yeah, no, Brian, you are making good points. There have been a lot of blowouts in these playoffs in this second round.
Yeah, even like, I don't know. Then you have the Celtics on the East, and they're just blowing through teams, except if it's Game 2. I haven't enjoyed these NBA playoffs.
Well, do the Pacers
have
Celtics?
No.
No shot.
The Pacers will win Game 2.
That's it?
Yep.
So
they'll definitely win Game 2.
Gentlemen's sweep.
I don't know, man. Pacers don't really lose at home.
They don't, but they're just, the Celtics have shown they are going to beat up on the non-elite teams, and everyone else in the East is a non-elite team.
All I can think of is, who's it? Derek White. Is that the guy on the Celtics?
Yep.
Yeah, Derek White versus TJ McConnell. That's the matchup of the series right there.
What did Josh Hart call TJ McConnell?
I don't know, probably something ridiculous.
He called him like the most annoying son of a bitch in basketball or something.
Yeah, and the most
probably valid.
Moving on.
Huh? But I think he was giving him praise. He just said he plays so hard. He's the most annoying son of a bitch in the league.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely be a pest, annoying, that whole 9 yards, but just because you're annoying, you can still be good, I guess.
Yeah. Well, how about them? How about them OKC Thunder?
I was hoping we wouldn't have to talk about them.
Took the words out of my mouth. I didn't even want to address it, but I feel like we have to since that was our future of the year plus 8,000. So I guess not a horrible future considering nobody expected them to even get to that point. They blew a 17-point lead. I mean, they had no business losing that game, and they did. So I think you said it good, Brian. A year too early is what it was. We'll see them next year, but is the Mavs front office, and I don't know, I guess Mark Cuban kind of pulls the strings as GM, even though he's not technically the GM, but do they look like geniuses for bringing Kyrie Irving in?
Look, Kyrie Irving is a generational basketball player. I've said it multiple times.
Luka and Kyrie matched up together. Nobody thought that was going to work out as well as it is this year.
Look, I mean, I think it definitely takes a little bit of time to make that bond work, that chemistry happen, as it does with any team and any teammates. But look, Kyrie is generational. He's, in my opinion, the best point guard. I mean, outside of Steph and his ability to shoot, I would take Kyrie and his ability to do everything else over anybody else. So, huge fan of Kyrie. We've seen what Luka can do. People forget Luka's still young as hell. He's younger than Shea. And we always talk about how young Shea and the OKC Thunder are. Luka's younger than Shea. Putting those two guys together, I'm with you. I didn't think it was going to work, but damn, has it worked? Lively has been exceptional. PJ Washington has been exceptional. He struggled for the first 3 quarters of that game against OKC, the closeout game, but turned it on in the fourth quarter with 9 points. And that was the difference down the stretch. That's how OKC lost that lead. The role players started to step up for Dallas.
Brian, what's your reaction, man? I mean, you're Mr. OKC. Give us some raw reaction here, man.
I mean, I love OKC mainly because they're just shown the ability to build from the draft and do it the quote unquote right way. But it kind of bit them in the ass this year because at some point you're going to have to do like what the Mavs did, and you're going to have to go grab Kyrie Irving or trade for a PJ Washington or acquire these role players like Derek Jones or Tim Hardaway. You can't just rely on drafting everybody and then hoarding those draft picks when you have 17 first-round draft picks that you could trade to get a guy like a Pascal Siakam at the deadline. And that probably helps you win this series. And then maybe we said it's a year too early, so maybe they're just thinking like they're on track and they're not going to get rid of the future to acquire someone now. But you have so much capital in the draft. You can afford to get rid of a few picks to try to win this year.
Yeah, they were also saying they got $30 million cap space. That is enough money to go sign pretty much anybody in the league. I mean, there's 15 players making over $30 million a year?
They're in a position with all the draft picks to waste one on Browning and then go get
that's
LeBron
what
James.
I'm saying. And they recruit LeBron.
Yep.
That would be a great move. That'd be a great move.
I'm sure LeBron would love being around all the young talent. And I don't know if he'd love Oklahoma City, but he spent so much time. He lives in Cleveland, so yeah, Oklahoma City wouldn't be bad for him.
Yeah, I don't think the city matters that much.
Well, after living in LA,
he gets another ring, right? He probably just wants another ring.
All right, so we jump into some NHL here. Brian's Maple Leafs went on the first round.
You just got to throw that in there first, really?
Way to bring that back up.
My Avalanche. Double overtime. I mean, they really, really gave their best effort to try and extend it to a game 7. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Sad, annoyed, pissed off. I'm not that pissed off, but definitely sad and annoyed about it. Thought the Avs had more in the tank. Clearly not. The Stars are the real deal. They showed it in the regular season. Thought they'd be fraudulent in the playoffs. They're keeping it rolling. And that's really all I have to say. I mean, I was not expecting the Stars to get past Vegas in the first round. They did. And I definitely wasn't expecting them to get through the Avalanche here, but they did. So now they move on to the Western Conference Finals. To be seen, I guess it's Canucks and Oilers going to game 7. But before we kind of touch on that, Jack, your Panthers are alive and well.
Yeah. They're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Playing the Rangers, the two teams I wanted to come out of the East. So I'm going to be happy. I mean, I know the Panthers are my future, so I'm hoping that they win this. But if the Rangers do it, I'll be just as happy as long as whoever wins the East wins it all. A little different from the NBA. NBA is going to the West. NHL is going to the East.
Yeah, at this point, I'm rooting for the Canucks to win it all, just so Brian's no team from Pacific Northwest will ever win again. That's my angle now.
The way
Bro,
our takes
so petty.
The way the takes have been trending on this show, it's probably going to happen. The Canucks are probably going to win it all.
It should be awesome.
Yeah, Brian, you've been ice cold. Respectfully.
Ever since your red hot college basketball plays, it's been down the drain since.
What did you finish that college basketball season with?
It was around 50 and like 25. It
was definitely a good record.
Damn.
I was like 20 games over 500, somewhere around there.
I was going to say, it was a pretty good record for just giving out free picks.
Jack, I don't think you have to worry about the Rangers. New York sports are in absolute shambles right now. So they're just due for a disaster of a series.
Yeah, we'll see. The Rangers have been a good team down the stretch, very physical. So hopefully, even if the Panthers win it, they don't get beaten up too much. They don't turn into like the Knicks.
NHL wise, new futures that we won't give out as official and won't count, whatever. But I got the Canucks. Who do you guys got the rest of the way?
I gave you the Oilers already.
Oh, so you're on the Oilers?
So we're going to go right to
Oilers. I'll claim the Canucks, and Jack's still going strong with the Panthers. And we'll see how that whole thing plays out, which honestly would probably be wild now.
Yeah, I know I said New York sports are in shambles, but considering you just took the Canucks, I think the Rangers just became Stanley Cup champions. We're all going to lose.
Maybe. All right, jump into some MLB. Couple MLB headlines over the weekend. Obviously, Philly's best team in baseball finish up a 3-game sweep of the Washington Nationals. Have the Rangers coming to town this week, so I guess we'll see what happens when they have to play a better team or a good team. I don't know. People have been ripping on them for the schedule. All they can do is play who's in front of them, and they're beating who's in front of them, and that's all I care about.
It is kind of crazy. They're 1-2 against teams above 500.
Okay, well, I guess are the Rangers above 500?
They might not be.
They should be. Honestly, I feel like they haven't been spectacular this year.
Yeah, I don't know if they are. But the Astros have also been really bad, so they might. Texas is 500, so that would count for teams 500 or above in that column.
We'll see what happens this week then.
But like you said, you got to beat the teams in front of you, so you can't really even fall
in front of you. I mean, you play the schedule that's in front of you, but I mean, headlines of the weekend, or I guess the weekend that just passed. Paul Skeens had a no-hitter going, gets pulled. I know he had a lot of pitches and he's young, so it makes sense, but tough to see the guy get pulled when he's going for a no-hit bid.
Yeah, if it were 5th grade Little League, he threw a no-hitter. 6 inning, no hits, 11 Ks.
Great start by him.
Yeah, 11 Ks?
I think he K'd 7 in a row to start the game.
He was lights out.
Damn, coach, let the man have a historic day.
How many pitches was he at when he got pulled? Do you know?
Exactly 100.
It was 100.
Oh. He wasn't going to make it 9.
Yeah, that would have been like 150 pitches.
Yep.
Yeah, 100 pitches in 6 innings is not efficient at all. I mean, I guess if you're K and 11 dudes, you're not really pitching that efficient anyway, but that's a lot of pitches.
He also only walked 1 batter, so I don't really know how his pitch count got that high.
Maybe on the foul balls.
A lot of foul balls, a lot of deep counts, yeah.
But either way, Paul Skeens, you could essentially say he won the weekend with a stellar start. But yeah, I mean, the other news is what, Brian? The Mets offered Pete Alonso a contract. Do we know the terms on that? Did Pete accept? Doesn't sound like he accepted it.
No, I think they said it was 7 years, $185 million, which seems about right to me. But I think the report was the two sides are talking. So maybe they're getting close. That number might change, but I think Pete's camp, who I guess it's Scott Boras, liked the offer enough to open up a dialogue. Which is good because the Mets needed some good news considering Edwin Diaz is back to Ed Luz Diaz now.
His fall off needs to be studied.
It was the fucking WBC, the nonsense tournament, and he injures himself, and now he's terrible.
Did he blow 2 saves against the Phillies? One in New York and one in Philly?
He just let up 4 runs in the 9th to the Marlins. And they lost that game.
This guy's out of control. I mean, I love to see it. I hope it continues.
Yeah, well, he's been
Sorry,
demoted.
Ryan.
Now it's a closer by committee. He's been demoted from the full-time closer.
Closer by committee. What are they going to do? Throw Jake Diekman out there?
Maybe. Hey, Reed Garrett. Reed Garrett's been great.
Yeah, he has some nasty stuff. I'll give you that. But
The Mets are not in a good place.
I said that before the year. I was like, the Mets have no starting pitching. The lineup is just and who is their bullpen? And you told me that they were going to be this all-around whirlwind team, and the starting pitching would be fine, I think is what
It is. It has been fine. Most of the guys have like mid-3 ERAs right now. The problem is really just Edwin Diaz, and the lineup has gone cold.
The lineup doesn't hit consistently.
Yeah. The bullpen's been good besides Edwin Diaz, which is kind of insane considering it's been the other way around throughout Edwin's time as a Met.
And then just quick reaction. How do you feel about Seth Lugo being just absolutely lights out?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. That's another
absolutely lights out.
that was another boof by the Mets. I don't understand that. They barely had to pay him anything. And they mistreated him his whole career. He started as a starter, led him to the playoffs in 2016, moved him to the bullpen when he clearly wanted to start and was good at starting, and then just never let him start.
Now the Royals let him start, and he's pretty lights out.
Might win a Cy Young. He has a 1.6 ERA.
I think he had, what do you have, 8 strikeouts yesterday? 9 strikeouts yesterday?
He's really
That's
good.
the Athletics, but I mean, the Athletics are pretty close to 500.
Also, the Royals, by the way, are what, 12 over 500 now?
Playing good baseball. Bobby Witt Jr., great player.
Yeah, speaking of playing good baseball, Jack, your guy, Alec Manoah, another good
Yeah.
start.
I mean, the Blue Jays are pretty ass right now, so I wouldn't know. But it's always good to hear Alec Manoah
What
doing
needs to be
well.
studied is Bo Bichette batting like 220.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
It's unreal. But
Damn, 1 hit, 7 innings.
yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the entire show right there until we get a quick reaction late night of the game 7 between the Timberwolves and the Nuggets. Obviously, we didn't touch on it much. I hit it in the intro, but Preakness Stakes winner given out. I know you guys don't trust me anymore or yet because of the McNeese pick, but I'm on the trail back. Mark one for the good one, sees the gray, wins the big Preakness Stakes race, and there will be more to follow as I work to regain everybody's trust. That's all I got.
Shout out Domingo Herman, promoted straight from single A to triple A. Dude hates AA.
You are now in the mix with DJ Savage.
Bars.
Shout out Brian for the dad jokes. Just incredible.